There is the tweet from the NBA acknowledging the passing of Jerry West at the age of 86. He was the logo unofficially. As we said earlier, the NBA never acknowledged it, possibly because they didn't want to have to compensate him for the use of his likeness for decades as the NBA's logo. Now, that's the only major league sport that incorporates the image of a player in the logo. Does baseball still do that? Baseball had one.
Well, they have the logo of just like the guy with the bat, and like they have a logo like that.
And the ball's right there. He's taking the pitch because there's no way he's getting the bat around because the ball's right there. That's right. But it's completely nondescript.
No.
There's no idea who that is.
Exactly right.
Hockey doesn't have that. They've got a shield. NFL's got a shield. So in the unlikely event the NFL would ever put itself behind the image of a player, what image or player or figure would we want to represent the NFL as the logo? That is today's draft. And also, we got some great responses when we put the question out to Twitter.
Yeah, we'll
share some of those coming up. But for now, Chris, who's your first pick?
All right. Well, this was fun, right? I mean, we both were kind of on text last night, throwing out ideas and pictures and whatever else. And, the first one that jumps to my mind, and of course it hits me home, but like hits home to me, is Lawrence Taylor, right? Lawrence Taylor on the edge, just looking like, as you would call, or he would call himself, a badass motherfucker on the edge. You better watch out because here he comes, right? I mean, that's who he is.
Yes.
But, man.
We might be back after the Olympics.
We might. We're not sure. But, but yes, that's one silhouette that I think of, right? Where I'm just like, man, that's football. That's some guy right there. Man, that looked kind of cool right there. I like that. I like that a lot. So that's what I was thinking. That's the first image that comes to my brain.
I don't know how the rest of these are going to look. I haven't seen them, but the silhouette is more intimidating than the actual photo to me. When you had the silhouette and the photo side by side, I'm more scared of the silhouette than I am of the actual photo.
Well,
but that's a good
one. And
that's well done.
That's
well done. All right. Now, for me, the first guy I thought of, and we've got room for three each. So please don't get offended if your favorite player isn't one of my top choices. My top choice, Walter Payton. And there's the image of him. I don't know which one they used, but the image of him leaping with his legs apart. And it's the one that became the McFarlane figure that I used for show and tell a few weeks ago when the number 34 had particular relevance to beyond the sports world. The Walter Payton in
That's
the
a great
air.
one
That's
right
not
there
exactly
too,
the
though.
one, but that one's good enough.
Good.
I don't know. It doesn't translate to the silhouette, though.
Yeah.
It's better as the picture than the silhouette. But the one I had in mind was him in the air with his legs apart and
jumping over the pile. He's got one jumping over the pile, one doing like kind of the scissors leg jump over somebody where he's hurdling somebody that way. I hear you.
So Walter Payton.
Right.
Some version of Walter Payton would be on my shield.
All right. Well, I'll try not to swear with this one, even though that's what this guy's doing, why he's posing for this one. I won't say it. Okay, I've sworn enough this show.
You've already said it once.
I know, so I'll count one swear per draft. But Tom Brady and LFG, right? That right there. Or when he comes down into the end zone, running out of the tunnel, right, and yells to the fans, and he gets like this and flexes a little bit.
That's the one.
That's the one that I would
Mahomes
think of.
does
right?
that too.
Yes, he does a little bit.
It's the same pose Mahomes does.
Right.
He's got that routine where he runs down, and he throws the ball, and he does that. The quarterback with the double arm crab flex would be the LFG logo. So,
and of course, hey, how Brady, the ultimate football guy. Right, and in a lot of ways could, is the guy you'd want to kind of publicize, selfless, like the man for so long. In a lot of ways, I mean, I think this one's not bad with him pumping the fist, but I would want that one in the end zone where he's yelling LFG.
This is the one that probably is going to be the winner when we think about what the silhouette's going to look like, and that's the Dwight Clark catch. Depending upon the angle that was selected, the photo, there's one angle in particular that is beyond iconic of the catch to the back of the end zone against the Cowboys in the 1981. There it is. And that one to me epitomizes football, and it's one of the great moments of all time. I don't know. Maybe I should have made that one first.
That's cool, though.
I love that one.
That translates to the shield there too. I do like it, right? And it definitely is one of those first few moments that you ever hear about football, learn football, you learn about the catch, right? That's certainly up there, and it's an image that at least is seared into my brain for as long as I live, and I think it's that way for a lot of football fans. Going back to my days a little bit, now, I don't know if the NFL would do this. It might be a little flashy or whatever else, but, the other one that came to my mind, and, of course, one of my favorite players growing up, Deion Sanders. Deion high-stepping in the end zone. Maybe the NFL will think that's a little too showboaty or whatever else, but, man, that's still an incredible image, and I've never seen anybody look like that guy right there running down a sideline. I've never seen anything like it. Like Deion Sanders was, can't miss TV in his prime. It was unbelievable, and he embodied a lot of good things for the game of football.
When we did that Go Get Your Shine Box draft the other day, one of the things I was going to pick was the Deion Sanders punt return where he fumbles it. He runs around the Rams and scores the touchdown. He was telling the entire league, he was telling the entire sport, go get your shine box when he arrived with that kind of a flourish. It was just different. Football is so competitive and everyone is so talented. There are rare few guys that are above that level of what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, no, you're right. And he was one of those guys. And I think he's got a story that's very similar to the Devin Hester, Tony Dungy one, right? I want to say it was the Washington team at the time. I believe it was Joe Gibbs, and they kicked to Deion like, hey, screw Deion, we're going to kick to him. And it was boom, bomb, see you later, touchdown, I'm out of here. And they were like, okay, forget that. We won't kick to him anymore. But, yeah, I mean, he was avoided. He was avoided. That's when you know you're so good, when people just go, forget over there. We'll throw somewhere else. I know this is Jerry Rice or whoever, but it's Deion. The hell with it. And that's when you know you're great.
The next one for me, and I don't know, I'll just go ahead and declare it a tie so we can use both of them. But one of the things I love is the patch that the winners of the Man of the Year, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award wear, that has the player in the old school long cape that they'd wear on the sidelines. And I identify that with Jim Brown. And I found last night the photo that is kind of burned into my own brain
iconic.
Jim Brown in that cape. I mean, there's just something about that screams out cold, wet, dreary football.
Yeah, tough,
and
old school ball.
I love that.
Yeah, right.
That's one that I'd like to get that picture and put it in a frame and put it on the wall somewhere.
Yeah.
And I like the picture again. Sometimes the logo is better than the picture. Sometimes the picture is better than the logo. But there's just something about that just screams out everything that we believe when it comes to football.
Well, and then he embodies, what you talked about, right? I mean, a guy that just was, you talk to anybody from that era, watch old videos, whatever, Sam Huff talking about. I mean, Jim Brown was on another level. He was godly. They were like, oh, God. I mean, every team that played the Browns and Jim Brown in his prime was like, how do we stop him? What do we do? How do you tackle him, right? I mean, freak among freaks, right? I mean, they invented cradling in lacrosse because of Jim Brown. I mean, to me, that's one of the coolest things of his whole career, right? They cradle in lacrosse because Jim Brown was running around Long Island, plastering the damn ball against his chest, going, I'll just run you over, and then I'll knock it in the goal. And they invented the cradling of the ball because of him. That's how freakish awesome an athlete he was and how ahead of the time he was.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize he was every bit as dominant in lacrosse as he was in football, maybe more dominant in lacrosse than football. A couple of others that didn't make our top six, but still are worthy of consideration. Franco Harris, while making the Immaculate Reception. The moment I discovered the National Football League, December 23 of 1972, great statue that I don't know where they have it at the airport now because they're doing renovations in Pittsburgh, but that's a great moment. Some would say, Raiders fans particularly, that the ball touched the ground. That statue and that image would suggest otherwise. That one, again, that's why it didn't make the top six. But that's a moment. When you think of moments that you would want to immortalize, that's one of them.
Definitely. That one came to my brain. I also got into my brain, Peyton Manning with the high release in the pocket, right? I mean, that would be another one that I think would look great. You'd see the ball in his hand and all of that. Certainly one that I thought about a little bit there was that. And then even
There was one classic John Unitas with his hand pointed straight out that I think we have.
Oh, yeah,
at least
right.
It was the same
right.
team. It was the Colts. But that one, again, I think that Dwight Clark or Tom Brady doing the straight on shoulders flexed LFG would be the winners for us if we were going that route.
Yeah, probably. I would say that.
Or LT. That was the one silhouette that was more intimidating to me of all the ones we've seen than the actual photo.
Yeah, well, yes, you're right, than the photo. But, again, if you saw Lawrence Taylor lining up against you in the prime, you'd go, I'd like the silhouette, please. Don't let me have the real human.
Yeah. All right, so we put this out on X, and if you go to the tweet, you can scroll down and see all the great responses.
Oh, there's some good ones.
And, I mean, there were hundreds. I didn't expect that many, but good Lord, a lot of people have some really good ideas.
Marshawn Lynch holding his junk as diving into
good.
the end zone was pretty hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
To cap the Beastquake run back in the 2009 playoffs. That would be a logo.
That would be a logo, yeah. He'd have kids going, Mom, why is that logo? Why is that guy's hand there? I don't understand. That would be a good one. Yeah. What was the other one that there was one?
The Odell Beckham catch.
Catch.
You're the Giants fan. The Odell catch would be a great logo.
That would be up there. I mean, that's still the greatest catch I've ever seen. Josh Allen against the Vikings. Yeah, that was a good one. That was his coming out party right there. That was when we were all like, whoa.
I remember that. Vikings were favored by 17.5 points that day.
Yeah.
The Bills beat them straight up.
Yeah.
Blew them out straight up.
Yeah, they whooped
That's
their
when
butt
we all
that day.
discovered he could run the ball.
Exactly.
We didn't know he could run the ball.
Not like that.
Barry Sanders is one that maybe should have been in our top 6. That the Barry Sanders making the cut like that's iconic.
Yeah, him, Vince Lombardi standing on a sideline with his coat on, right? Like something like that, right? I mean, come on.
Yes.
That's as good as it gets, right? And, another fun one is, of course, the Len Dawson smoking a cigarette, which, we know isn't really on
I don't know how
we don't
that
want it on
translates to a logo.
But it still would be cool.
Yeah, but I like it. and you got to have the bottle of Fresca as part of the logo.
That's amazing.
It's not just about having a cigarette at halftime of a Super Bowl. You've got to refresh yourself with a bottle of low-calorie, no-sugar Fresca. How about a Fresca?
That's amazing.
As Judge Smales once said. The Randy Moss, but this one came up earlier in the week as one of the great Shine Box moments.
Yeah, that'd be great.
that's I don't know that the NFL would authorize that one, but I'm sure plenty of Vikings fans would love it as much as Packers fans would hate it.
Yeah, no, we got some good ones. We got the butt fumble run, right? So we had a lot of
that one was great. I laughed out loud.
Yes,
when I saw the butt fumble idea
of some really creative ones by our
somebody
listeners.
Actually. I mean, it's not just the photo.
Oh, they went all in.
Somebody actually took the time to crop it out. It's got Vince Wilfork and Kevin Mawai and Mark Sanchez on the ground after he went face first into the rear end. Not of Mawai.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the guard?
No,
he
but
went face first into his
I'm
butt?
seeing
I don't either.
It's more. It's something more, but I can't remember exactly who that was at that time. No, I cannot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
And then there's that was suggested. Given my obsession with Aaron Rodgers, it's when he was showing the world his COVID toe. That would be quite a logo. Maybe that should be the personal logo. All the quarterbacks like to have their own logos, and they're all not really great. That would be great. That's a great personal logo for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and put immunized.
The best one, though, if we're talking NFL, how are we not talking
that's so great.
about the guy who had the NFL Shield? Let's get Rob Lowe at the playoff game. I think that was the NFC Championship 2019. He talked about that recently, too, how that all came to be. I mean, he saw a hat that had the NFL logo on it, so he wore it.
Right.
And that was that. So
very
good
professional
stuff.
of him.
And the last one came from Shireen. I can only imagine what this one
yes,
might be. Yeah,
that's
thanks,
right.
Shireen.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
How about them Cowboys?
Moment. Yeah. That one's better. I found that one last night in color. It's better in black and white because it just kind of speaks to my soul that day. And nearly 50 years since. Good. The 50-year anniversary is coming up, December 28, 1975. I'll never forget that day or how I felt when the Cowboys stole the game from the Vikings because Drew Pearson cheated. With the bad call just in front of it where he was clearly out of bounds along the sideline on a fourth down play that should have ended the game. That one gets overlooked. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.